Why OBJ is moving to the NBA from the NFL. Odell Beckham Jr. is one of the most electric players in the NFL, but here's why he could carry his electricity over to the NBA. Of course, the NFL and the NBA vary greatly from one another. The skill sets needed for each sport are quite different. A baller in one sport might not necessarily be a baller in the other sport, but the same set of rules don't apply to OBJ. A change in his career after having played 7 years in the NFL, it's not as crazy as you may think. So why is Odell going to make the move? He's just that good. If you watch Odell on the football field for just 2 minutes, you'll see he has outstanding athletic ability. It's hard to miss. Whether it's his unrelenting speed down the entire football field, or his leaping one-handed grabs that seem humanly impossible, or any other ridiculous play he makes, Odell is gifted, plain and simple. Not only does his natural athletic ability translate from football to basketball to a degree, but Odell's got game on the court too. He played high school ball in New Orleans and was a force to be reckoned with. Odell stands at 5'11" and weighs in around 198 pounds. Some may point to him being just about at 6 feet and question if he can make it to the NBA. It is a fair question with a league that's more height dominant. For a fair question, the fair answer is Kemba Walker, 6 foot even, 184 pounds, baller. JJ Barea, 5'10", 180 pounds, champion. Isaiah Thomas, 5'9", 185 pounds. Remember when he was a serious MVP candidate and was nicknamed King of the Fourth? That's just a small list of impeccable players that are 6 feet and under. Add on to that, a league that continues to shrink with the small ball movement sweeping the nation. Oh, and Odell can dunk. He wouldn't be your typical smallish guard. He's got hops. Lightning speed whether it's on the turf or on the hardwood. Excellent awareness, whether he wears a helmet or a headband. Put a ball in his hand, it doesn't matter the shape of the ball. Watch him go. Odell could be a candidate for the dunk contest in his first year in the NBA if he wanted to be. But he's got skills that apply to the NFL, and he's already there. Why leave? He wants respect. Odell unfairly gets a lot of criticism for his play and his attitude. For one thing, he has already shown plenty of maturity and has adjusted his attitude since his time in Cleveland. And what some call attitude, others call a passion for the game and competitiveness. When Odell would get upset with a team loss and attack the kicking nets, it's because he wanted to win. He gives his all on the field and he is angry when that doesn't translate to a team win. That's the fire you want from a player. The narrative of Odell having an attitude problem and the criticism of his game and his desire to win may have subsided a bit in recent years, but it's still there. It's been there through most of his career. How much longer until he is sick of it? How much longer until he goes knocking on NBA Commissioner Adam Silver's door? And here's the massive problem Odell has on his hands. He landed in New York with the Giants in 2014, just a few short years after the Giants' second Super Bowl win with Eli Manning. But Manning wasn't the same Manning from that recent Super Bowl. And even in that second Super Bowl, he wasn't the same Manning. That defense carried the Giants to victory. With an aging and inconsistent Eli Manning as the field general, Odell still wowed and amazed. Odell kept the Giants in games they had no business being in. But in the NFL, one amazing player cannot lead a team too far, and the Giants were never really able to do much, and Manning's career was on its way out the door. Still, blame was placed on Odell for not bringing the Giants far enough. The man did all he could do. It's unfair to hoist that entire franchise onto his shoulders and leave him to burden the weight alone. Odell moved to Cleveland with a much younger Baker Mayfield in the hopes of success at the highest level. The first season they spent together did not result in anything you would label as a success. And if this continues on, Odell is going to wonder what he is doing with his prime years. He needs to be able to put his talent to good use and contribute to a team that can make some noise in the playoffs. Frankly, a team that makes the playoffs would be a first step to take. And Odell can clearly see, impact players in the NBA can make a difference to a team much more easily than in the NFL. With 53-man rosters and a minimum of 30 guys playing each week, an NFL team needs multiple phenoms on their team in order to make a difference. Look at the NBA with their 15-man rosters. Sometimes just 8 or 9 players playing per team per game. If you are an extremely talented individual, you can move to a team and tip the scales immediately. And his prime years will only last so long in the NFL. Yes, in the NBA, players are also susceptible to aging and falling out of their prime, but the prime of an NBA player lasts much longer. ODELL deserves respect for his incredible talents, athletic abilities, hard work, dedication to perfecting his body, and his lightning speed awareness. Who says that has to be recognized in the NFL? The NBA can showcase that quite easily. If you hold up a trophy on national television for a professional sport in North America, it doesn't matter what sport it is. Everyone in the world sees that. The fame and money. It would be silly to pretend like this isn't a factor, and it would be harsh to act like players shouldn't think about this. For one, if someone wants fame and all that comes with it, let them have it. Don't disrespect someone for enjoying that. And when it comes to money, players often get labeled greedy for leaving teams for more money. But how many people out there would turn down the opportunity to make more money they make now? Yes, it's a sport we watch for entertainment on TV and in stadiums and arenas, but for them, it is also a job. They have their livelihood and their families to think about. Many athletes have such a short window to make money in. They need to capitalize on it. And the NBA offers more fame and money to its players than the NFL. NBA players get more off-court deals with advertisers. They're also more recognizable to people. Maybe it's a lack of a helmet covering their face. Who knows exactly why it is, but it is. A big piece of it likely derives from the NFL having the skill position players and the standout defensive players who score touchdowns and rack up stats that the average fan is aware of. But half the players on the field don't acquire notable stats during the game. The linemen can play incredible, and many fans won't even notice. Whereas in the NBA, anyone can score. Everyone does score. Thus, companies view NBA players as a whole more marketable than their NFL counterparts. And the players make more money on average in their contracts, not just year to year, but in the long run as well. Which brings us to the next point. Longevity. It's no secret athletes last longer in the NBA than the NFL. Football is a brutal game. Think about it like this. If a player doesn't run out of bounds or into the end zone, or if a pass isn't dropped, then the play does not end until someone gets tackled. That means most plays end in multiple people crashing into each other. Not at all the case in the NBA. Of course, basketball has its wear and tear, and there are plenty of injuries, but not nearly as many as there are in football. Players last longer in the NBA. Sure, you have exceptions like Jerry Rice, who played 20 seasons in the NFL, but even greats like Randy Moss and Reggie Wayne, who are considered to have had long careers, played 14 seasons. 14 seasons is easy in the NBA. Everyone and their brother plays at least 14 seasons. LeBron is in his 17th season, talking about trying to stick around until his son makes it to the NBA. Vince Carter just played it in 4 different decades. Okay, Vince Carter's 22 seasons is the most any player has ever played, but Dwayne Wade played 16 seasons. Andre Iguodala just did 16. Dirk Nowitzki totaled 21 seasons. Hey, even Michael Jordan played 15 seasons, and that was with 2 retirements and a total of 4 years off in between all those playing years. There are tons of NBA players lasting longer than 14 seasons, and 14 seasons isn't a guarantee in the NFL, not even close. With a longer career, ODELL would have more chances at success, more opportunities for an ODELL-led offense to have deep playoff runs and take shots at a finals championship. With a longer career, ODELL can make more money. Sure, the contracts tend to be higher in the NBA, but regardless of how much money he would make each year, the amount of years he would be making that money would skyrocket. You don't need to major in math to know that more years making money means, well, more money. And the longer ODELL can play in his sport of choice, the longer he can put off taking those broadcasting classes in order to segue his career into the booth. What can ODELL bring to a team? ODELL can bring you explosiveness, energy, effort. These are all details of the game that can't be measured by stats, but they win ball games. With the hops and speed ODELL has, he can get into the paint and score. He can dish and distribute, creating plays for his teammates. And what team couldn't use another creator on offense? You see plenty of NBA teams falter when there aren't enough playmakers, or if a star sits on the bench for a breather and their lead shrivels away. That's a curse LeBron often lives with on his teams. He helps his teams get a lead, he sits, bye-bye lead. And when you think of ODELL's wide receiver physique and his big physical stature, he could body up some guards on defense. He isn't going to be the easiest guy to drive past. Could he take a charge and draw an offensive foul? Yeah, the guy gets tackled multiple times every game. A charge would be like a treat for him comparatively. What would it do for the legacy of ODELL? How many players can you think of that have played at the highest level of 2 different sports? One name comes to mind, Deion Sanders, primetime. And how do people view Deion? Like a legend. Elite in football and baseball? You don't see that every day. and Dion has made it in the shade for the rest of his life. His image is untouchable. The same could be true of a basketball phenom named ODELL. Could ODELL be the next primetime? Final thoughts. Thanks for watching another UpNext Sports video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Got any other reasons ODELL will be leaving the NFL for the NBA that we left out? Comment and let us know. And join us for more basketball videos.